Hi everybody, I'm Viviana Siless. I'm the CTO and co-founder of Quipu Market. And today I'm going to be talking about how to use blockchain to model alternative currencies for informal economies in Latin America. So Quipu is an app for the neighborhood economy in LatAm that enables trade without using money while building creditworthiness. So I'm gonna start first with some pain points in LatAm. So one is that there is high levels of informality. Many workers are informal. A large percentage of the population is unbanked. There is high levels of not digitalization. There is access to computers and phones, but still many transactions happen on cash or not in digital manners. And this also it makes the access to capital harder. There is no recorded information, and therefore you cannot access capital to grow your business. There is often not enough liquidity, and there is a lot of invisibility. People living in public housing or informal settlements, they are far away from urban areas, and it's harder for them to reach customers. And sometimes they even sell from their house that can be the 5th floor of a building. And from there, it's really hard to reach customers. So therefore you become a little bit invisible. So I'm gonna start, this is the agenda today. So the first thing is going a little bit deeper into the problem. Then I'm gonna talk a little bit about our solution, which are digital marketplaces with alternative currencies. Then we'll talk about the technology, the apps, and the architecture. And I will end up with the impact, what's the impact that this generates, how it's being implemented and used. So the problem, first, half of the population in Latin America is unbanked. They are underserved by financial services, and the majority of the workers are informally employed. 1/4 of the population in Latin America lives in informal settlements, which are places that look like this, or this. These are 4 neighborhoods in where we are working currently in. The first one, Villa de San Pablo, is what has been our pilot marketplace. And these neighborhood economies face 3 main barriers for growth. One is information and visibility. They lack information and visibility. They lack access to capital flow, or there is no enough liquidity. They lack access to capital for growing their businesses. And this has also became worse during COVID, during the pandemic. But informal neighborhoods are thriving places for commerce where millions of businesses operate. You can find entrepreneurs like Julia that sells handcrafted shoes from her house, Daniris that has a restaurant in her own backyard, or Juan that has a corner store. These are some of our entrepreneurs. And these neighborhoods have 3 main assets. They have high smartphone penetration. They have high levels of social capital, which means that they are really community oriented, and recently even have increased financial digitalization and inclusion. So for example, right now, 31 million of Colombians have access to digital deposit accounts, which wasn't like that some time ago. And Quipus were the income mechanisms for recording transactions. They were their accounting mechanisms. So every time a transaction will happen, they will generate a note to record that. We want to come back to our roots by bringing Quipus into the 21st century. And so our solution are digital marketplaces that enables trade without money while building creditworthiness. And so let me show you how this works. Daniris will create her business profile in the app, and she will upload her business and the products or services that she provides. And she will receive at that moment some tokens for being a first-time user. And now she will go on the app and look for other things that she can find in the app, and she will find that Julia is selling handcrafted shoes, and she will go and buy her by paying part in tokens and part in pesos. So now Julia will use the tokens that she should earn from selling the shoes and the tokens that she had before for being a first-time user, and will go and buy arepas from Rafael. And this should generate a chain of transactions that are digital in our app and are a P2P interest-free credit. In the front end, for the users, this is just a marketplace. But for us, there is granular data about the informal economy that isn't existent today. This has information about offer and demand, our rating, our behavior, our chat discussions between users. It has so much information that we can use to unlock equitable financial services for our users. So going into the tech, this is two different apps. One is a marketplace and one is a dashboard or a backend application. And they are both web applications. The marketplace is built in Angular. We use Firestore for recording the data and Algolia for indexing our data or database. The dashboard app is Angular. It has Angular and Ionic on the front end. The backend is Java using Spring Boot, and the database is again Firestore. But the dashboard not only has its own little database, but it also accesses the marketplace database. In the middle, we have blockchain, which are for us services that we will call every time a transaction happens, or every time we want to record something on the blockchain. And we use Algorand public and private network. So going more into the blockchain, we use Algorand standard assets. We have one per community in the sense that each community has a different coin or token, and we transact this in a public-private network. So the transactions of these tokens, which we call Quipus, happen on a public network, while all the user identifiable information will happen on a private network. We choose, everything is also recorded in our database. And we choose Algorand because transactions are low cost and really fast. And for us, working in informal settlements, transactions are daily, all these little daily transactions. And also in Latin America, so a transaction might be between $3 to $5. It could be as low as that. So for us, minimizing the cost of gas is really important, and also how quick the transaction can be performed. And also Algorand provides us with features such as clawback address or rekeying that allows us to really manage the account if they lose the address or the password, or they can use our app without even noticing there is a blockchain on the back, and we can manage all that for our users. That is one possibility. So that's really interesting for us. And we use NFTs to generate a digital financial ID, which, for example, if you want to know what transactions belong to one user, what you will do is just query on that NFT instead of the address. And so this is how our blockchain will look like. The top layer, the public network, contains the Quipu transactions. So you see that there is one transaction of Quipus in community A, and then there is another transaction of Quipus in community B, and these are different assets. But for example, we can exchange assets across communities. It could be with the smart contracts that just make the exchange at zero value. But for example, if we will want to retain the wealth in one community and not allow it to leak into communities that are in different regions really far away, we can just model that with smart contracts by adding some fee to that exchange. And in the bottom layer, in the private network, we have all the user identifiable information. We have the NFTs with the phone, with your passport ID, all the information that is really private for the user that allows us to identify these users. And so this is the part of the app or the technical part. And now I'm gonna talk a little bit about how this has an impact and how it's being implemented and used. And so For us, our marketplaces are a launchpad from financial uncertainty to financial prosperity. The marketplace itself already provides visibility to the users, and it enables transactions to happen without money. So when there is not enough liquidity, when people don't have enough cash, they can still transact between each other. And this creates a lot of data for us that allows us to analyze it and create alternative credit scores to provide tailor-made equitable financial services for them. And so our business model is B2B2C. The marketplace is free for the user to use, but we record all these transactions and we partner with MFAs to analyze this data and to provide loans at lower interest rates. We also have the NFTs that they are in the private network, and that allows us to, for example, charge membership for policy making, or other institutions that might want to access the data to maybe to provide financial services or for other things that can drive financial inclusion. Also, other things that are interesting to us is that by being on the blockchain, we can collaborate or exchange with other apps that are in that environment. So we launched in March 2021. We have 5 partnerships confirmed, and we are working already with 5 organizations in different communities. We have today 1,000 users registered, more than 500 registered businesses, 1,300 products and services being offered in our marketplace, more than 650 transactions, and we have right now more than 150 applicants to grade, which this is really exciting for us because all this app is what it's trying to do. It's trying to record data and to analyze it better to provide alternative financial services for those who today cannot really access those. And so this is the team. We met at MIT and Harvard. Most of the team were doing a master at MIT. I was doing a postdoc at Harvard. And we have experience working in informal settlements, public housing, and a lot of experience building technology too in Latin America. We have won several prizes and grants from MIT, Google. We recently were finalists in Finovista Algorand Summit. Our pilot was funded by the IDB Lab and the Fundación Santo Domingo in Barranquilla. We've been in many accelerators, and we have our early investors today that are the Med Fund and Adam Capital. With that, I will conclude, and thank you everybody for hearing and being here today. I leave you my email. Please feel free to contact me if you have any question or you want to talk about anything further. Please follow us on all the social media. Thank you.